Hello friends and welcome to this video. My name is Shahab. In this video I want to create a relation between two entities in the AUA framework. The scenario is this. We have two entities of teacher and student. Each teacher has many students and each student has many teachers. So I need another entity to create this many-to-many relation on the name of StudentTeacher. So let's start coding. Well, I need to create a new entity inside the module of school. As you know, every entity needs to inherit from DomainEntity. The primary key type is like. Okay, I need a key from student and another one from the teacher. Let's check the type of the keys. Here student keys and integer and teacher is like. Okay. And the entities. Okay, now I need to create a collection inside the student and also the teacher. Well, inside the student entity, here I want to use iCollection. Based on your needs, you can use whatever you wanted. Let me create this field visual. Okay, let me copy this. I need to paste this line into the model of student. Also, I need to create that line inside the teacher and also inside the teacher detail, because I want to map the relations also. Let me close all of these. The next step is to create the configuration inside here. Let me copy one of these. A StudentTeacher config. Okay, let me put teacher here and also read teacher here. Here I want to create the relation builder dot has one of what? One teacher which has many student teachers based on the foreign key, which is the teacher ID. And same for the student. One student with many student teachers based on the foreign key of student ID. Let me build the project and the migration. Don't forget to put the default project on the data layer here. Okay, before the next step, let me check the database. Student teacher table. Well, the relation is created successfully. Student, teacher, student, and the teacher. Now the next step is to create the model. Inside entities DTO, inside the models class library. Well, the student teacher DTO, the primary key type is long. Let me copy the fields from student teacher. Here you can use IMAP from and map this DTO from student teacher. Okay. You can do this here, but I want to use from the other option, which is I have custom mappings for this example. Well, let me implement configuration dot create map. I want to create map from a student teacher to a student teacher DTO. And it is done. What if there is another member which is different with the StudentTeacher entity. For example, here I have a string of teacher name. How to map this? Dot for member. Which member? P dot teacher name. And I want to map it from. Let's use Q and Q dot teacher dot first name. I want to make the full name for this member, okay? Q dot teacher dot first name plus a space, and again Q dot teacher dot the last name. Let me create another member, for example, student name. Student name. I will copy this again. And this is a student. In this example, you are mapping student teacher into the DTO, from entity into the DTO. But imagine a situation that you are getting DTO from UI or an external service, and you want to map that DTO inside the entity. For this situation, you just need to create this and replace these two with each other. This format is for the vice versa situation. When you are mapping the DTO to the entity, okay, and this situation is working when you are using I have custom mappings. Okay, let's go to the next step. Next step is the services. I need to create its service inside here. Let me copy this interface and rename it to iStudent Teacher Service. The first parameter is the entity, which is here student teacher. The second parameter is the DTO, which is the student DTO, student teacher DTO, and the last one is the type of the primary key. And let me copy this for creating the service. Teacher service. First is the entity, the second one is the DTO, and the last one is the type of the primary key. And here iStudent Teacher Service. Okay, let's go to the next step, which is the registration of the services inside the entity service. I need to register that service here inside the registration school service. Student teacher service, and this is the service student teacher service. Okay, we are done. The next step is to create the controller, but in this situation I don't need to a new controller, and I will work with the student controller, because in this situation I have access to the new services from the other controllers or other services. Okay, but if you need to create a separate controller for that new entities, okay, do it and work with that. Here I want to create a insert action as you know, the output is result model, and here it will return for us a boolean, and its name is insert async. Okay, var of DTO is equal to a new student DTO. The first name is a student F name. Creator user ID is equal to user ID. Attention that if you use user ID in every controller, in every action, you can save the active user. And student teachers is equal to a new list of student teacher. Var of student ID is equal to student service dot insert async, and the action will return create success result, which is true. Now it's time to run the project. Okay, before that, let me open the tables here. These are the tables of student teacher, teacher, and students. All of them are empty. Student insert. Okay, let's push the F10. The ID of new entry is 7, and let's check the SQL. Okay, table of student, a student F name, a student L name, the date IsActive is true, creator user ID is 1, which is the admin system, and the ID of the student is 7. Now the teacher F name, teacher L name, and the date, and the ID of the teacher is 6, and student teacher. Well done. Student ID of 7, which is this student, and teacher ID is 6, and this teacher. Okay guys, thank you for watching.